B Marsh Boxing, what's happening, world? So, Sean Porter. Sean Porter thought he gave Errol Spence a boxing lesson in their one and only fight, that WBC IBF unification that happened, I think, sometime last year, September, right? September of 2019. Okay, and one thing I've noticed here on these YouTube streets doesn't happen in real life because I do talk to some boxing fans in real life. On these YouTube streets, it's cliche, and the popular thing to do is to hate on the PBC fighters. You know what I mean? Some people have a problem with some people on YouTube or fans liking fighters who fight on PBC. If you like Errol Spence, they have a problem with that. If you like Deontay Wilder, they have a problem with that. If you like whom else? Who else gets a lot of hate? Tank Davis, they have a problem with that. If you like the Charlos, people have a problem with that. You know, people you gotta let people like who they want and support whom they want. You know what I mean? You check it now. If somebody now says that the Charlos are the greatest fighters they've ever seen at 154 and 160 pounds, now that's being deluded. That's kind of talking crazy, like Sean Porter saying he gave Errol Spence a boxing lesson. You know what I mean? See me, I'm not cut from that cloth, man. I'm just a boxing fan who likes all kind of boxers, no matter where they from, what promotional company they're with, what network they fight on. If they can fight and they're doing what they're supposed to do, I'm all for it. It actually makes boxing a better place for me, and it makes the sport more enjoyable when guys are actually fighting legitimate, competitive fights. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what you got when Errol Spence and Sean Porter got in the ring. You know what I mean? When Shawn Porter was faking on that fight in Errol Spence about 2 years ago when he got that WBC belt and vacant title when he fought Danny Garcia, he ducked the man. He was ducking the man, Errol Spence, for a while. But there was public demand, and I even made a DuckTales video. There was public demand that Shawn Porter stop faking and stop ducking Errol Spence and fight the guy in a unification. After 2 years, a few title defenses, Sean Porter, I guess he wilted under the pressure, and he took the fight versus Errol Spence. But when that fight was made, don't you know there were a lot of people here on these YouTube streets who weren't even satisfied with that fight being made? They said Errol Spence is ducking Terrence Crawford because he's going into a unification with Sean Porter. That's what I heard. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, I can't make this stuff up. You know what I mean? Those guys sound deluded just as much as Sean Porter saying he gave the man Errol Spence a boxing lesson. I'm going to read you some quotes, you know what I mean, from what the man Sean Porter said. And he said, quote, I thought I beat Spence. When I heard split decision, I thought it was going to be a split draw. I really did think that I beat him. I know I gave him a boxing lesson, and if a rematch is there for me, I would love to do it. End quote. Again, got to put this in context. Sean Porter said these words during a Facebook Live interaction with fans. Now, he's talking to fans and he's saying that he gave the man a boxing lesson. He might have been caught up in the moment trying to please the fans, trying to hype up the fans. But at the end of the day, I don't think he even believes what he's talking about. You know what I mean? Really and truly. Sean Porter's 32 years old, 30 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 17 KOs. Errol Spence is 26 and 0 with 21 KOs. And this is what he said regarding that fight. The fight with myself, quote, the fight with myself and Errol Spence, I think a lot of people thought he was the guy who was gonna, put me out. I think first of all, let me say that's. I think first of all, let me say that he's another one of those great fighters. Just knows what to do, knows how to do it, and I can really get down, and can really get down in the ring. But I knew some things about myself that not many that not many other people know. And I think one thing about me is I don't shy away from a challenge. I actually love challenges. I thrive in challenges. And so when the fight was made with myself and Errol Spence, I took it as you know the biggest challenge that could be. And you know, for me, I look at the big things and the small things. So so what? So where you may have saw I was a step or two ahead of him for a majority of the fight, those who don't recognize that or don't believe that or doubt that, you're wrong. I was a step or two ahead of him the majority of the fight. End quote. Sean Porter, man. Like I said, man, I think he been listening to these deluded YouTube fans out here who got a hate for Errol Spence that actually had the man Sean Porter winning the fight. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy, man. Sean Porter, man. You know, when these guys are on their Instagram lives, on live streams, people say anything. You know what I mean? Me, B March Boxing, yeah, I'm doing a live stream right now. I ain't just talking out the side of my neck. No. I'm giving you quotes from what the man said. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you thought Sean Porter won that fight, please show me 7 rounds that he won to win the fight. Just show me 7 rounds, solid, clear cut rounds that he won the fight. According to the punch stats, CompuBox punch stats, Errol Spence was credited with landing 49 more overall punches than Porter. I said that yesterday. We were doing a live stream yesterday. One of them fantasy brackets, quarantine fantasy tournaments I'm doing on my channel here. And I said, how did Sean Porter win that fight when the man Errol Spence outlanded him? You know what I'm saying? Even on the power punches. You know what I mean? The man landed 184, Errol Spence, as opposed to Sean Porter's 152. The jabs, Errol Spence landed 37 compared to Sean Porter's 30. I watch boxing. Power punches win the fight. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention, the man landed overall more punches than the man Sean Porter. You got to show me 7 rounds Sean Porter won, man. Put all your hatred away from the man Errol Spence. Y'all must have forgot Errol Spence took that flight to Sheffield to go ahead and get himself a strap. Not no vacant thing. He ain't wait till there was somebody easy to beat out there. You know what I mean? You check it. How? How did that man win the fight? As I recall, I seen somebody on the canvas too. Got caught with a short left hook, and it was not Errol Spence on the canvas. I mean, I got no problem with Sean Porter. I thought it was a great fight, one of the best fights, if not the best fight of 2019. Sean Porter actually exceeded my expectations. He did much better than I thought he would. But he didn't win that fight. I'm sorry. The rightful man who's unified WBC and IBF won the title and won the fight. Would I like to see a rematch? Sure. It's funny how the man Sean Porter thinks he won the fight, but when it came to Keith Thurman, a fight that I actually had a draw, which was a very close fight, he didn't seem like he had the same energy. You know what I mean? Talking about he won that fight, but he's talking about, and he ain't hit the canvas versus Keith Thurman, and he got caught with some flush hooks that rocked him. But he was there, and he put a lot of pressure on Keith Thurman. I had it a draw. I don't think anybody won that fight. But I watched Sean Porter and Errol Spence, and it was a great fight. And I sat there and I watched the fight with a close eye. And sure enough, the man Sean Porter won the fight, lost the fight. Errol Spence won the fight. Let me look at the CompuBox box stats um, to see the body punches. because that's the man Errol Spence's bread and butter, right? And Errol Spence was digging. I'm sorry, Sean Porter was digging to the body too. You know what I mean? I recall he had him on the ropes in the second half of the fight and was going to the body. Okay, total punches, body landed. Holy cow! Wow, wow. Okay, so total punches according to CompuBox box stats, and to me, CompuBox is not how I score fights. I've seen the fight with my own eyes, and I know who won. But total punches landed 221 for Spence, 172 for Sean Porter. Total body punches landed by Sean Errol Spence, 113 to Sean Porter's 44. Yeah, this is just another video to debunk the BS out there talking about Errol Spence lost the fight, man. The best thing you can do as an Errol Spence hater is just ask for a rematch. You could say, yeah, Sean Porter lost the Errol Spence won the fight barely. Go ahead and say that. But give the man his credit, man. Give the man his just due. Like I said, y'all must have forgot that man Errol Spence had to travel all the way to England, to Sheffield, England, in front of a hostile crowd. Go watch that fight. Go watch the man Errol Spence walk into the ring versus Kell Brook. Look at all them white fans in Sheffield screaming. Some of them, are, you could tell, are yelling obscenities and are basically cussing the man Errol Spence out because there's one guy who just stuck his face close to Errol Spence and he yelled something that you could tell wasn't no kind words, and the security had to shove that man back, probably because of the obscene words he uttered to the man Errol Spence. Yeah, he must have forgot that hostile environment. Yeah, he must have forgot Errol Spence lost his title in America to Kell Brook, who took that flight from Sheffield, UK, came to the StubHub Center over there in Los Angeles or Southern California and beat the man Sean Porter. Right. And Errol Spence went to England to go get that belt, bring it back to the States. Sean Porter had every chance, everything in his power to get that strap back. But unfortunately for him, he came up just a little short. You know what I mean? Yes, indeed. There's some cornballs um, in my live stream right now who want my attention, but nah, not today. You's a bitch, whoever you are. You ain't getting my attention. You think I'm gonna read your comments? Get the fuck out of here. Whoever you are, thanks for coming to my channel and giving me views. You bitch ass nigga. Anyways, B Marsh Boxing, man, you know. Look, man, I don't like to have to talk to people like that on my live stream, but look, man, when I consider my channel like my house, I consider everybody else's channel like their house. I don't go on anybody's channel and I don't go troll them. I don't even look, man. Even if I disagree with what they got to say, it is what it is. It's their channel. They could say what they want. I'm not gonna be in the comment section say, "Hey, man, I don't like what you said about so and so, man. It hurt my feelings. Could you please take down the video or retract your statements?" Nah, it's your channel. Do what you want to do. Just like somebody's house. Wipe your feet before you step in somebody's house. Don't go in nobody's house disrespecting them or disrespecting anybody or talking crazy, because you might get handled. And that's how I feel here on my channel. You ain't not gonna come on my channel, and I'm not gonna block you, cause Slim ain't say nothing racist. That's the only time I'm gonna block somebody, when you saying something racist. But anyways, bitch, you ain't getting my attention. You ain't even gonna get me to read your comments. Fuck you and fuck that horse that you came in with. Yes, indeed. So B Marsh Boxing, man, you know, I thought that fight was a great fight. Errol Spence and the man Sean Porter. Would I love to see a rematch? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, Sean Porter did much better than I thought he would. But he ain't win the fight. And maybe that's how you guys out there who hate Errol Spence, hate PBC, but you were cheering for Sean Porter, a PBC guy, to beat another PBC guy. Right. Yeah, you were cheering for the guy who was ducking Errol Spence for the longest till public demand forced the man Shawn Porter to get in the ring in a unification with Errol Spence. Right, you guys make a whole lot of sense. But maybe you guys were just like me. You thought Shawn Porter exceeded expectations, and just for that matter, y'all gave him the fight. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of sort of something like Roy Jones versus Antonio Tarver, the first fight. I actually thought Roy Jones won that fight. The first time we'd seen Roy Jones tested for 12 rounds to the point where arguably he might have lost the fight. But I think the fact that we'd seen Roy Jones dominating his whole career up until he fought Tarver, barely losing rounds. But when finally he loses about 5 rounds, people thought he lost the fight. So I'd advise everybody to stop being delusional like the man Errol Spence. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, Shawn Porter. You know, Shawn Porter's a great guy, but he ain't win that fight. It is what it is. Be Marsh Boxing. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this guy, Shawn Porter, being deluded, talking about gave the man a boxing lesson. How'd you give a man a boxing lesson when he outlanded you by almost 60 punches? How did you give the man a body lesson? I'm sorry, a boxing lesson when you hit the canvas? Let's be real, man. Like I said, he's talking on a Facebook Live. He might be just saying anything that the fans want to hear, but he ain't win that fight. Be Marsh Boxing, leave your thoughts and comments, and I'm out of here. Peace.